Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our webinar entitled Thinking of Offering City and Guilds Technical Awards. Thank you for joining us. Before I start the presentation, I'd like to explain a few things about our webinar platform to allow you to get the most out of the experience. All viewers will be in listen-only mode. We'll take you through a series of slides. You can use the question and chat tabs to engage with us. We expect that our webinar will be extremely popular, but our team will do our best to answer your questions and queries. After the webinar, we will be providing a recording of the webinar and a copy of the slides and fact sheets to address any unanswered questions. We will also send you a follow-up email with 3 questions, and we look forward to receiving your responses. This webinar will be presented by myself, Teresa Brookes. I'm the 14 to 19 Business Development Manager at City and Guilds, and my colleague, Alison Whittle, who's the Technical Advisor for 14 to 19 and HEI Progression. So, this is the agenda for the webinar. We'll be covering City and Guilds Key Stage 4 offer, what's available, performance tables and discount codes, structure and grading, assessment methodology, progression pathways, resources, where can I find out more, next steps, some contact information, and then we'll do a Q&A session at the end. So about our technical awards, they have been approved by the Department for Education to count in 14 to 16 performance tables in 2018 and 2019. The purpose of technical awards is to give students an opportunity to explore specific industries, experience hands-on practical learning, and develop related technical skills. The focus is on the study of a sector or an industry rather than a specific role within the sector or industry. They are designed to provide opportunities for learners to research a specific industry. And it's important to understand that they are not competency-based qualifications. Our technical awards are not specific to job roles and have been designed to be studied alongside GCSEs. They are available in 7 sectors. And you can deliver the technical awards over 1, 2 or 3 academic years in years 9, 10 and or 11. So there is lots of flexibility in terms of delivery. Who can deliver City and Guilds Technical Awards? Approved centres can be schools. They include academies, free schools, studio schools, etc. University technical colleges, private training providers and colleges. City and Guilds also has a range of entry-level and level 1 qualifications. However, these do not count in performance tables. So, what's available? City and Guilds has 8 technical awards in 7 different sectors approved by DFE for the technical award category of 14 to 16 performance tables. New for this year is vehicle technology, which will count on the 2019 performance tables for the first time. In column 3, you will see that we've included City and Guilds qualification codes. On the City and Guilds website, under the menu, Search Everything, these codes will take you directly to the qualification documents and assessment material. At the bottom of the page, you will also see that we've included the DFE discounting codes, and you can check this to see if there is any discounting codes allocated to qualifications. That means that if 2 qualifications have significant overlapping content, the DFE may apply a discount code to them, which means that when a learner achieves both qualifications and certificated for both, only one may count in the Attainment 8 and Performance 8 performance measures. A discount code will apply to our 2 construction qualifications. That's the Technical Award in Design and Planning the Built Environment and the Technical Award in Constructing and Maintaining the Built Environment. Please do check that as these discounting code tables are updated on an annual basis. All 8 technical awards are ready for delivery from September 2017. 7 will be reported for the first time in 2018 performance tables, and the technical award in vehicle technology will be included in the 2019 performance tables. So, performance tables and accountability. City and Guilds technical awards have been designed to meet DfE's requirements. This means that they are recognised as being rigorous qualifications that are equivalent to 1 GCSE. They are for Key Stage 4 students aged 14 to 16 in the last 2 or 3 years of secondary education in years 9, 10 and 11. At 120 guided learning hours, they are equivalent to 1 GCSE and can be studied over 1, 2 or 3 academic years. And up to 3 technical awards will count in Progress 8 and Attainment 8 performance measures as part of the open group of subjects. I'll now hand you over to my colleague, Alison.
Hi. The next slide is looking at the Attainment 8 buckets, and I think the best way to demonstrate this is by a visual. Attainment 8 will measure the achievement of a pupil's success across 8 subjects. These are mathematics and English, 3 further qualifications that count in the English Baccalaureate, the EBAC measure, and a further 3 qualifications that can be GCSE qualifications or any other non-GCSE qualifications on the Department for Education approved list. So if we look at category 1 or bucket 1, slot 1, this is for mathematics and English. Slot 2 or bucket 2 is for any EBAC GCSEs. These are any 3 of languages, science subjects, computer science, geography or history. Slot or bucket 3 is what we call the open category, and this is for any other GCSEs or approved qualifications. Technical awards sit within this category, and up to 3 technical awards can count in this category for the performance tables. Again, I've included another visual here because I think it's one of the best ways to look at how we can compare the GCSE grading comparisons. You will see the technical awards are currently aligned to the GCSE new grading system of 9:1, where our qualifications will sit between 8.5 to 4. So a pass will be equal to a grade 4. A merit will be equal to a grade 6. A distinction will be equal to a grade 7, and a distinction star will be equal to a grade 8.5. So planning for assessment. All City and Guilds technical awards have 1 externally set theory exam and 1 externally set practical, we may call it controlled assessment. There are 2 dates in each academic year when the theory exam can be taken. One will be in the spring term and one will be in the summer term. The synoptic assignment is released to centres at the beginning of the autumn term. There is 1 opportunity in each academic year when learners can take the synoptic assessment. Learners must complete their synoptic assignment in the set 12-week window, which will start in February and ends in May. The dates for the exams and the synoptic window will be published on the City and Guilds website, and this will be available next month in July. There will be no direct claim status for these technical awards. This is because City and Guilds will mark the theory papers and we externally moderate the synoptic assignment and subsequently award the overall grade. Because of the flexibility for delivery, you will need to plan your assessments according to the duration of your course. So we've included here what a sample 1-year delivery course could look like. So just leave that with you to have a look at for a second. So if you were delivering this technical award over 1 year, learners will have to take both assessments in the 1 year. There will be an opportunity to resit the theory exam in the same year, but as we said before, not the synoptic assignment within the same year. So looking at the delivery pattern here, we would start the autumn term and you would do the delivery of the syllabus right the way through till the February of that year. You would enter your learners for the first exam date, which will be February, March. The results of that will be published to you in May. If learners do need to resit, there is an opportunity to resit that theory and external exam in June. And results of that will be published in August in line with GCSEs. The synoptic assignment, you will have the window opens in February, and all the results will have to be updated on the moderation portal by a date given to you in May. Looking at a sample of a 2-year course. So if we look at the 2-year course, you may decide to enter learners for the theory exam in year 1 and the synoptic assignment in year 2. And this will allow for a resit of the theory test in year 2. So looking at delivery of this, you could do all your teaching and delivery in the whole of the first year, which will take you through right the way through some September. You could then enter your more able learners in May or June for the first exam. The results of that exam will be published to you in August. Starting the second year of delivery, which could be year 11, you will continue teaching for the synoptic assignment. That will be released to you in the start of the autumn term. You will have till February, March, April, May to put your results in for that, to teach for that. During that time, there is a second exam date or a potential resit for learners who sat the end exam in the first year. That also allows another exam opportunity window in May or June for learners who didn't sit the exam in the first year and who may have sat it for the first time in year 2. So these again are samples. There is a lot of flexibility in the delivery. You could deliver the synoptic within the first year and have a resit of the synoptic in the second year, but possibly you would need to consider what you would include in your timetable or your curriculum should the learners have passed the first time. So it's what we would do for the second year of delivery. So it's giving you lots of flexibility here, and obviously, you know, each school or each centre can devise their own model that suits their learners best. Looking at the assessment methodologies, this is purely looking now at the external assessment, which we would call the exam. There are externally set and marked knowledge exams, and these will include some stretch and challenge questions. There will be sample papers that are available on the website. And of course, last year's papers will be made available to you to use as next year's mock exams. Exams have to be taken on a set date and time, and these will be published on the City and Guilds website and will be timetabled along to GCSEs in case of any summer sittings in May and June. There will be a paper and or online versions that will be available. The centre can select which version you require. It is important to note that a centre cannot apply for both paper and online for the same learner. The external end test will cover the critical knowledge and will tend to focus on content that can't be observed naturally in a practical setting. The external exam contributes 40% to the overall grade, and it is graded distinction, merit, pass, or fail, and there is only one resit allowed. Students can retake in order to attempt to improve their grade. However, there may be an additional fee for this. The learner will need to pass both of the assessments to achieve the qualification. There is no compensation. In other words, if the learner does not pass the exam, they will not achieve the qualification. It's worth at this point mentioning that it is the best results that will count in your performance tables, not necessarily the first result. So assessment methodologies, this is now looking purely at the synoptic assessment. So technical awards have a synoptic assessment, and the assignment again is written by City and Guilds. It is an industry relevant synoptic assignment which brings together both some practical skills where applicable and the knowledge. It is marked by yourselves, by your tutors, and will be subject to an internal standardisation. The marks and the evidence for the sample must be submitted to City and Guilds via the moderation portal. We have a marking and moderation guide that will explain the sample size as required. The assignment will include some research activities, and it will have a number of different tasks. And where appropriate, these tasks will be practically based tasks. The moderation approach really is to ensure quality, robust quality and rigour. And City and Guilds uses a sampling method. And as we said before, the sample size will be dependent on the number of learners registered for the qualification. Sampling will be carried out remotely. Moderation visits will not be required for Key Stage 4. There is a 12-week window to complete your assignment, which is going to be in the spring and the summer term, and this contributes to 60% of the overall grade. It's worth noting that unfortunately there is no opportunity for a resit in the same academic year for the synoptic assignment. I appreciate this is structure and grading of City and Guilds technical qualifications. Now I appreciate there's a huge amount of information on this slide. So I'm going to leave this slide up and I will try and unpick the salient points for you. And this is really just to recap information from all the previous slides. So both assessments are provided by City and Guilds, as we discussed earlier. We know the exam contributes to 40%, is marked by City and Guilds, and the results are sent to centres and are available on Walled Garden. The synoptic assessment is also set by City and Guilds and contributes 60% to the overall grade. This is internally marked by yourselves and externally moderated by us using a remote sampling method. The marks for the exam and synoptic assessment are aggregated to give the overall grade. Now, City and Guilds will aggregate the grades and they inform centres of the overall mark for learners. There is no set pass mark in advance, as this will be decided by an expert panel using an awarding process, although we will be able to indicate the pass grade boundaries from the previous year. It's a model of criterion grading that is used, and this means that a learner has to meet a standard, and that standard will stay the same each year. There is no set percentage of learners achieving certain grades each year. And I realise that for most schools or centres delivering Key Stage 4, you would probably be more familiar with a norm referencing model and the UMS scale. But although standards stay the same, the grade boundaries may alter slightly if an assessment is deemed to be more or less demanding that year. As we said, the learner has to pass both parts to achieve the qualification, and only one resit for each is allowed. Learners can resit the synoptic, as we said before, but the tasks will be different. And further details about the assessment model will be discussed later on in the presentation. Okay, the assessment approach for technical awards. This is from September 2017. So City and Guilds will develop exemplar assignments to help with standardisation of marking. Last year's exams will be available for mock exams for this year, or next year as well. We will release the synoptic assignments early in the autumn term each year. These should not be given to learners until the start of the synoptic window, which is in February. The date will be specified on the exam timetable. We are aiming to reduce the number of assessment objectives from 8 to 5, as we did feel there was some overlap in some of the assessment objectives. We will provide an approximation of the pass boundary in the first year, and then we will confirm in subsequent years to provide transparency for centres, but this will be the synoptic assessment only. The assessment specification and weighting for each unit will not change year on year. So looking at the 14 to 19 progression routes and beyond, I've used another visual here to explain the different pathways available from Key Stage 4 to Key Stage 5 and beyond. The areas shaded darker indicate the qualifications that City and Guilds offer, which are Maths and English functional skills, technical awards, and other qualifications, for example, entry level and level 1, as my colleague Teresa explained before. We also have in the 16 to 18, Key Stage 5, we have tech levels, a full tech back qualification is available, technical certificates, apprenticeships and traineeships. All of these have a clear line of sight to either apprenticeships, employment, university or post-18 education. This is really sort of a visual showing possible progression routes from a learner to do 2 Key Stage 5 technical qualifications. So it's an example of what a progression route could look like for a Key Stage 4 learner wishing to progress to Key Stage 5. It's important to make clear that this relates to progression from Key Stage 4 technical awards to Key Stage 5 technical awards in the same subject area and title only. Hairdressing, beauty therapy and hospitality and catering learners have to progress onto a level 2 technical certificate at Key Stage 5 before they can take a technical level qualification at level 3. And this is largely due to the core practical and technical skills that would be required. And examples of this could be in shampooing and conditioning in hair and beauty, and certain nail applications. In hospitality, it could be skills of slicing and dicing, where learners would be expected to have acquired these skills before they are taught they're not taught at level 3. If a learner wishes to study specific crafts, for example, carpentry, joinery, bricklaying, or electrical installation, they would also have to complete a level 2 craft qualification at Key Stage 5 before they could progress onto a level 3. Now, we will have time for questions, I know, and at this point I'm going to now pass you over back to my colleague, Teresa.
Thank you, Alison. We've got a number of resources that are available for you. Qualification handbooks, which you'll find under the document tab on our website. We also have purpose statements for each technical award, and these set out the aims and objectives for each qualification, and you can use the content of this in your marketing and promotional materials. We have sample assessment materials, sample theory tests and synoptic assignments. We have resource lists, and these are the resources that we suggest you have available to deliver and assess the technical awards. We have a teaching, learning and assessment guide, marking and moderation guide. We have a centre guide for the moderation portal, which will take you around how to upload marks and evidence for your learners. We have technical qualifications assessment forms, recorded webinars and FAQs. So where can I find out more? I've put the link in here to the City and Guilds website. For qualifications, type in the City and Guilds qualification code that we gave you in an earlier slide in the search the site box, and click on the document tab and then the plus sign on the level 2, and you'll find the centre documents, which will include the qualification handbook, sample assessment materials and resource lists for each technical award. For generic resources, including centre guides, videos, webinars and our FAQs, click on Technicals and TechBack, and under the Technical Qualifications section, click on Resources and Support to Assist Centres. And I've put the link in here so you can go straight to it. In addition, there is a dedicated customer service direct team who will be the first point of contact for any general qualification inquiries, such as where to find information on qualifications and exam dates. If there are any general inquiries regarding the qualifications, these will be directed to us via customer service. If the inquiry is of a technical nature, we can ask a specialist technical advisor to give you a call. As these are not competency-based qualifications, we don't envisage centres will require any specific technical support. So, what are the next steps? How do I get approval? If your centre is already an approved City and Guilds centre, you will need to submit a qualification approval form via Walled Garden to City and Guilds. If your centre isn't an approved City and Guilds centre, you will need to read the information on how to become a City and Guilds centre to ensure you meet the criteria, and I've included the link here. The next step is to submit a customer application form and then a centre approval form. There is a cost for applying for centre and qualification approval, but schools and charities are exempt from the minimum spend threshold and student numbers. Centres will have an external quality assurance visit to assess the centre's suitability to offer the technical qualifications and offer support in preparing for delivery. We will be holding onboarding webinars in the autumn term for centres that are delivering our technical awards in the 2017-18 academic year. So here are our contact details. Please get in touch if you need any further information. We have a dedicated technical awards email address, and that's monitored on a daily basis if your query is specifically about technical awards. We also have customer support, and the telephone number and email address is here, and they are opened from 8 AM to 6 PM Monday to Friday. Does anyone have any questions? If you want to use the questions button to log any questions, that's fine.
We've had a couple of questions through at the beginning already, so I think we should make a start on those if that's all right, Teresa. We can start answering these questions already.
Yes. What are the costs of registration? Well, most of our technical awards cost £55 for registration. There are a couple of exceptions. The engineering qualification is £75, but the majority of them are £55. And if you are an approved centre and you're looking to look at offering other technical awards, then the qualification approval is £200 for each technical award, although you can seek approval for the 2 construction technical awards on the same qualification approval form. When is the exam timetable available so we can plan our delivery? The exam timetable for the next academic year will be published in July. It will be on our website, and you will be sent a link to where that is. And the next question is, when will students receive the overall grade? The answer to that one is City and Guilds amalgamates the results from the exam and the synoptic assessment and awards the overall grade. And these grades are given to centres via Walled Garden in August and is available to candidates on GCSE results day.
Okay, I've been asked a couple of questions here. What type of learners are the technical awards aimed at? There is no set criteria. City and Guilds will not state sort of a certain level of learner that we would expect to take these awards, as that may disadvantage some learners who who have a flair and are enthusiastic about the subject, and also those learners who may not have done as well in other areas. What we would say is that they are level 2 qualifications. They are equivalent to grades 8.5 to 4 on the new GCSE grading scale. So there is an expectation that learners should be of a standard to take a level 2 qualification, or at least over the period of delivery, depending on how long that is, if it's a 1, 2 or 3 year, be able to sit that level 2 exam at the end of that to give them a really good chance of having a pass it within that. Another question has come that if the programme is delivered over more than 1 year, does that mean a learner can resit more than once, i.e. resit an exam on each year? Right, okay, I can see where there could be some confusion there. No, unfortunately, there is only one resit for each assignment, regardless of the delivery time. So you could, you could take sit an exam in year 10 and have a resit in year 11, but it wouldn't mean that you'd have a resit in year 10 and 11. What happens if marks and evidence are not submitted on time, or a learner is not able to sit an assessment for any reason? Again, that's a really good question, because as we know, delivery to learners at this particular category, they have lots of issues and things that may impact on them being able to sit exams for any reason, which is really good that we have so much flexibility within those exams. So at least, if I certainly wouldn't recommend you leaving it till last minute. I understand if you've got a 1-year delivery programme, that could be difficult. But if marks and evidence are not submitted on time, it may affect when the results will be available to you. I would recommend you contact City and Guilds immediately if you become aware of any issues. And if a learner is unable to take an assessment, the GCQ guidelines, will be implemented as they will in all the exams there. Are any more questions coming through? I think they are here.
Yes, we've had a question from a new school. It's a new centre, and they've asked what is the timeframes for approval. They don't open until September. So if you have want to apply now, if you know the names of the tutors, etc., and what resources that you will have in place, you can have an approval visit. Normal time for approval is 30 days. But we are extremely busy over July and August with centre approvals, so we would encourage you to submit that as soon as possible.
Okay. Let's have a look and make sure we haven't missed anything else there.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. Copies of this webinar will be on our website shortly. Many thanks for joining us, and please get in touch with us via the Technical Awards contact, technicalawards@cityandguilds.com, if you've got any further queries. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.